Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of The Cult of Horror. I'm your host, Devrell Davis. You might know me as the host of the Morning Beer Podcast, but this is episode number 1 of my horror channel. So let's begin. We're starting off with a really very case that took place in 2014. Really didn't hear this in the news back then. Really haven't heard it till recently, and that's like 7 years later. Actually, sorry, 8 years later, you're really hearing more and more about it. You've seen a lot more YouTubers doing shows about it, a lot more podcasters doing shows about it. It's about a horrific crime that took place in Corpus Christi, Texas, by a fella named Kevin Davis. No relation to me at all. He was 17 at the time. Apparently, on the day of March 27, 2014, Kevin went to his family, his mom. He lives with his mom in Corpus Christi, Texas, and apparently she just came home from work, and like anybody else coming home from work, she just wants to come home and chill and relax and be drama-free and stress-free. However, Kevin wasn't feeling that day. Kevin had every intention of letting her know how he feel about life, himself, and the world. But before we go further into his story, I just have to give you a disclaimer. My dogs are here, and they're very yappy, and they're always bound to get into this video and make some noise. So just be aware if you hear dogs barking. That's my dogs. Don't worry. Just don't mind them. Also, another disclaimer before I get into his story. I don't like giving disclaimers. So if you clicked on this video, there's a reason why. You're probably pretty much into this type of disturbing type of stuff that I'm into, as far as listening about it and hearing stories about it and finding out why it was done. So I don't like to give warnings that much. If you clicked on it, you're a grown-ass adult. You should know and act accordingly. It's going to be graphic. That's your warning. That's all I could tell you. So anyway, going back to the story, March 27, 2014, Kevin Davis went up to his mom, whose name is Kimberly Hill, 50 years old, hospice worker in Texas, coming home, and she's probably not in the mood for this. But Kevin is like, listen, I'm not feeling the way I feel. I'm not feeling like living anymore, to put in a better phrase or whatever. He doesn't want to be here no more. At 17, he decided, this is it. I lived life long enough. I don't want to be here. Do I have permission from you to end that? Obviously, Kimberly's not happy with his choice of not wanting to be here. She did bring this guy into the world, and she is his parent. So apparently she gave him an answer that didn't suffice or didn't satisfy Kevin. She said, listen, don't want to see you do it. Don't want to see you go. But if you do choose to, I can't stop you. You're 17 now. You're probably going to be able to do it. I have to go to work, and chances are I'm not going to stop you from doing what it is that you intend to do. So there's that. Don't do it, but I'm not going to stop you. I don't have the power to stop you. So this didn't really bode well to Kevin and his psyche at the time. He felt that this was a slap in his face. He felt unwanted. He felt unwanted from the world. From reports from kids in his school, he was the average student. Wasn't a top student, wasn't a below average student. He was just average. Wasn't really a social pariah. He wasn't out there mingling with all the classmates. Probably didn't have a lot of friends. Definitely was a virgin. Definitely, because he states that later on, so I'm not just assuming it. He states that he was a virgin. You'll know more as I get more deep into the story. He also states that, obviously don't have a girlfriend or something like that, I'm assuming, or boyfriend, depending what it is. Who knows how things goes these days. So apparently this didn't really go bode well with Kevin. And in my opinion, I'm probably jumping the gun, but this didn't bode well with Kevin. Kevin didn't like the fact that his mom wouldn't fight for his life or make it seem like, listen, I really want you here. Please don't do it. Please. I'm begging you. Please. I love you. Blah, 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 this and that. She didn't give him that type of answer. So with that being said, and he ended up taking her life. Now we're gonna go deep into why he ended up taking her life, his mom's life, how he ended up doing that. And whenever a child takes a parent's life, it's called parenticide. So that's one crime or one aspect of the crime that's being committed in this episode is parenticide, the killing of one's parent, his or her parent, one or two of the parents. So what he chose to kill her with was a gaming cord. He took like one of these cords that's probably connected to a gaming system, a controller or something. Don't really remember what's back out in 2014. I'm assuming it's probably PlayStation 3, maybe some Xbox, whatever. I forgot the names for Xboxes and stuff like that. So it was one of those gaming cords he took to strangle her with it. Kevin is a very skinny. I'll show you a picture of him. You'll see the pictures in the video. Stature wise, he's very skinny, very frail looking. His mom is a little bit more on the heavier side as far as woman. She's definitely weighs more than him. Definitely could probably outpower him if she really used her maximum force. So he was using this gaming cord to strangle her with, and it didn't work. It didn't work. He realized it's a lot harder to strangle somebody. It's not what you see on TV. It's not what you see in movies when you strangle somebody and boom, they pass out and they're dead. It caused a lot more effort to be used. And the way Kevin seems in life, he doesn't seem like he puts a lot of effort into things. And so he just scrapped that. She probably was like laid out on the floor after first one being surprised by her son doing this. It went from a whole 180 from him wanting to kill himself to him now killing her. And that decision was made because of the answer she gave him. And please don't get it misconstrued. I'm not trying to blame her for her being killed. It wasn't her fault. In my opinion, my absolute opinion, I believe he had it planned already in his head that he was going to kill her no matter what she said. She could have begged him to stay here, or she could have been like, you could go ahead and pack your bags now and just jump off a cliff. Regardless of what she said, he was killing her that day. So no, I'm not blaming her at all. Kevin made that decision long before it, but he just wanted some egging on. He wanted something to push him over the edge. So anyway, after he used the gaming cord didn't work. He decided to get a little bit more brutal and blunt, and he went and got himself a hammer. Now it's going to get a lot more graphic. He takes the hammer and he hits at least at a very bare minimum 20 times with this hammer. All mostly in the head area, in the head region. And that's my dogs you hear in the background. They fighting over a toy, so it's it is what it is. But anyway, he hits her 20 times. She's still not dead. He heard her snoring, he said. And if you watch the interrogation, he explains everything in full detail. Can't give you the interrogation because of copyright reasons in this video. You can always go look it up, the Kevin Davis interrogation, after you finish watching this video, giving it a like, subscribe, and sharing it, and telling a friend. You can always go ahead and look at that interrogation. Is phenomenal. I'm actually going to, at the end of the video, going to tell you what I compare this interrogation with and who I compare Kevin Davis with. But anyway, after he takes the hammer and hit it 20 times, it doesn't work. So he goes ahead. He says she's just laying there snoring, so she's obviously knocked out. She have a head injury, a concussion or something of that nature, and she's clinging on to life. So he goes ahead and takes a knife. He goes to the kitchen, takes a knife. With this knife now, like I said, it's going to get a little bit graphic. The cracks and crevices that he made with the hammer in her head, he takes the knife, puts in one of those cracks and crevices, and opens up the skull a little bit more. And if you haven't heard of this case, till now, it's amazing how it wasn't like really like more mainstream or more nationwide coverage, because I just don't remember this case. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm incorrect. Leave a comment down below if you heard this case back in March of 2014. Kevin takes the knife, opens up the skull a little bit more, takes the knife and stirs the brain around with the knife. Out of curiosity, he said. This is what he mentions in the interrogation. And this is what kills her apparently. It's amazing. It's weird. It's totally like mind-boggling how, that's a weird way to die. It's strange, but Kevin stirs her brain up and down, stares her around like he's cooking food or whatever. And I'm not trying to make fun of this. I'm just trying to give you an honest description of what it was. If you haven't seen the interrogation or his explanation of how he killed her, this is how he killed her. Stirs the brain around. He says in the interrogation that it has a consistency of putty as far as the brain. He actually touches it with his hand too, and he said it has a consistency of putty. There's rumors in other channels, and as I did my research of this, I did actually, prior to this video, I actually made another video on this on my other channel, and I also made a podcast on my old podcast about this event. So the rumors were that he actually even tasted the brain. Don't recall it when I'm doing my research recently again to do this video over, because I did this a few months ago. I did this probably like more than 6 months ago. Don't remember it, but right now we have parenticide and cannibalism, if it's true. After this act was done and he finished the stuff with the brain, he decided to move her body to the bedroom. What a gentleman. He takes her out the living room, moves her to the bedroom, and he goes into losing his V card to this to his mom's corpse. He lost his V card to his mom's corpse. What a gentleman. He took her to the bedroom to do this. So his mind is out there, man. So now not only do we have parenticide. I don't know why I can't pronounce that word. Parenticide, cannibalism. We also have necrophilia and incest in after the fact, I guess. This guy is out there, man. So anyway, after he's finished losing his V card to his mom's corpse, he left a note with the blood of his mom to the cops on the wall or somewhere in the room, in her bedroom. Chase me, sorry for the mess. Chase me if you can, sorry for the mess, is what he said, word for word, on in his mom's blood on the wall for the cops. He said he was feeling like a little bit, he felt like running. So what he did was get on his bike, and him being 17 years old, he doesn't know how to drive. Not saying that you shouldn't know how to drive at 17, but he seemed like he was a little bit delayed in a lot of things as far as his maturity level, him maturing. He didn't mature. He doesn't learn how to drive at 17. He doesn't have a girlfriend and stuff like that. So he wasn't really a mature individual. So he got on his bike and decides to go on a run. And he in his mind, at a 17-year-old age, he believes he could probably get away with this. But that only lasted for a few minutes because he switched it up real quick and decided to turn himself in. So took his bike, got to a neighbor's house. When he got to his neighbor's house, he decides to throw the bike in the bushes. Once he throws the bike in the bushes, he knocks on the door. And this couple just at home minding their own business, gets bombarded with this kid at the door, knocking at the door, asking them if he could use their phone, telling them that he just killed his mom, and he wants to call the cops and turn himself in. Kevin went ahead and turned himself in. He told the operator everything that he did, described it on the phone. Cops came to that couple's house that he went to and picked him up. When they picked him up, he explained everything to them. He just, he told them everything that his plan, what he did, blah, 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 this and that. And this is when they take him into the police station and interrogate him. And the interrogation, he lets everything out on the table, how he was, what he did before. When they asked him if this is his first time having sex, he said no. He did this before. He did this before with a cat. He took a cat, drowned it, slit it open, and inserted his man tool into the cat and to completion. Same thing with his mother. He completed the act. They asked him that in the interrogation. He assaulted her to the point of completion, if you get what I'm saying. Same thing he did with the cat. So now we also have bestiality to add to this. So this guy right now, let's tally up the score. Cannibalism is a maybe, but it was told that he did eat some of the brain to taste it. Parricide, necrophilia, incest after the fact, if that's really a thing. I don't know if it's something I came up with, but incest after the fact. He had sex with his mom. And bestiality. This guy is a winner. So he speaks more to the investigators and everything while they're interrogating him. He did say that he planned this out, and his thoughts were to do this to his sister also, whose name is Desiree Hill. She was 24 at the time. She lived a few blocks away, not too far away from his mom and himself. And she was at work at the time. She worked in a restaurant as a waitress, and she wasn't there when it happened, but she was going to come there and discover the body unless he called the cops, and the cops came there and found it instead. She was actually going to come there and pick him up, because after he asked his mom if he could, end it for himself, the mom went ahead and called his sister and told her, come pick him up tonight. I don't want to deal with him no more. He just needs to get out the house, and probably this will help him change his mind. The sister was going to come there. He was planning on doing this also with his sister, doing the same acts he did as far as, everything that I explained prior to this. And unfortunate for her, he changed his mind. He told the investigators he felt like he had his fill of killing for the night, and it would have been, quote unquote, no pun intended, overkill. So he didn't kill her, and he decided not to go ahead with that, which it's just such a horrible crime. They asked him what his typical, one of the investigators asked him, guys seen the whole interview, what he believed his typical kill would be. So he made it known to them that he's only into women, but he's only into women that are no longer alive. He would prefer them to be gone and have his way with them. He said he would prefer to remove their head from their body and somehow try to put it back together. He would kill him that way. He said he would prefer to use a knife next time. And then after that, he would perform acts to them after that. So that's a guy that you wouldn't get off the street. And he admitted to the judge that if let out, he would do this again. So he knows that he's on the verge of becoming a serial killer. He also stated to investigators that his mom didn't deserve this, that she was a good person, she was a good woman, she was a really good mom, and she treated him real well, and this was something that wasn't probably something that she deserved in the long run. He still decided to go ahead and do this, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. Kevin was sentenced to life in jail with possibility of parole, though. It's not permanent life. It's possibility of parole in the year 2044, when she'll be 47 years old, 30 years, he'll be eligible for parole. So chances are we're hoping he doesn't ever come out. I think he already stated that he would still be looking to do that type of thing. So hopefully they know not to give him parole in Texas, and Texas is tough on things like that. Kevin will be 47 if allowed out at that year. I'm 42, so he'll be 5 years older than me, what I am now. And I mean, he could still be in his prime as far as physically being able to do certain things. So please keep this guy in there permanently if possible. So I want to go into a few comparisons I have of this guy. I believe he's more so under the tree of Edmund Kemper. If you all know Edmund Kemper, he was a co-ed killer in California back in the 60s, late 60s, I think it was. If you ever seen the show Mindhunter, he was the first season, I think the main character or whatever, main serial killer. Edmund Kemper killed a few co-eds, college-age women that went to school in the California, I think it was Lower California, I forgot where in particular. But anyway, he was a taxi cab driver. He was driving around and kill those women. I think he killed roughly around 4 or 5. However, that's not what Edmund Kemper is really famous for. What Edmund Kemper is, and not to take anything from the women that he killed, it's amazing that he killed this many people, and still the main thing that a lot of psychologists and stuff and like to talk to him about is the killing of his mother. In actuality, he killed his grandfather and his grandmother when he was younger. He went to jail. He went to some type of reform where it's like for underage kids, because he was like under the age of an adult. And he said he only did it, he killed his grandmother just so he could see how it is to kill somebody and get that feeling. So he killed her when he was that, a little bit younger than what Kevin is at 17. Then he killed his grandfather because he didn't want his grandfather to be alone without his grandmother, and he would have came home and seen her. So he didn't want that to him to live with that. So he decided to kill him too. He went to reform for a while, was released, came back home, had lived at home with his mother and his sister. Edmund lived in the basement. His sister lived upstairs. His mom locked him in the basement when he was younger, when he came back home, because she felt she didn't trust him enough, that he had sexual desires for his sister, and in order to protect them, she would lock him up and keep him away from them. This didn't play well with Edmund. Eventually, a few years passed by. His relationship with his mom got worse and worse. She became a drinker, and once again, I'm not blaming her for her own demise. However, Edmund said he wasn't treated well by her because of her drinking and because of just the way she was and the way she treated him, as far as the way she talked to him. But it's you just don't kill your mom. It's like, you separate yourself. You're older now. You're an older gentleman. You get away. You separate yourself from the situation. Edmund ended up one night going up to his mom's room and wanting to vent a little bit and get some stuff off his chest. So once he got to her room and went to talk to her, he said, "Hey mom, could we talk?" So apparently Edmund didn't get the answer that he liked from his mom. Edmund pretty much mom said, this is what he said she said. He said that she was like, "Oh boy, all right, I guess we're going to be up all night talking or whatever, so go ahead." So he got a flippant answer from his mom, one that he didn't like. And almost in the same fashion as Kevin Davis, Edmund goes ahead and kills his mom. Edmund removes her head from her body and then has assaults sexually the skull sexually, orally, to completion. So he uses his mom's decapitated head to, you get what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? So I'm not gonna, this YouTube, you can only say so much. So not only that, he also invites her friend over and kills her too, but not in the same fashion. I think he killed her and that was it. But his mom, he said he put her head on the mantle, he screamed at it, yelled at it, the head, and you gotta think in his head he's like totally messed up. And then he has that type of act with the head after. So That's also parenticide. That's also necrophilia, incest after the fact, I guess. It's something I invented, so I'm the first one to say it. Doesn't do cannibalism. I don't know anything about bestiality or anything, but I know he killed animals prior to that too, from what I understand. And if you look at the McDonald triad, Edmund fills some of those criteria: bedwetting, animal killing, stuff like that. Fire, I don't know if he did fires, but that's the McDonald triad as far as the serial killer is concerned. So he had those traits. Edmund's interview, a lot of psychologists and stuff interviewed him for years and still go up there to the state of California, see him in California, interview him and get his honest opinion. He's very well known, very high IQ, very intelligent man, not just a psychopath. And when it comes to his mom and stuff like that, same thing could be said about Kevin Davis. He sounds very intellectual, very smart in his presentation in the interrogation. Doesn't sound like he comes across as an idiot. He sounds like he knows exactly what he did and what he was doing, and he said has his full capacity. He's not crazy. He knew what he did. He knew it was wrong, but he just had to do it because something in him wouldn't stop him from doing it. He just had to get it done. This is why I compare Kevin Davis and Edmund Kemper as far as killing. They're literally the same to me. As far maybe Kevin is a little bit more deranged in certain things, and maybe Edmund is just more of a just successful as far as killing more people. But Kevin Davis, please, after 2044, please stay in prison. Don't come out. And I hope you do everything to stay in there too. So that was the story of Kevin Davis, and actually this is the story of Kimberly Hill and her murder and how she died, and this is just a sad story. Her father, which is Kevin's grandfather, it was heartbroken, and his court, if you go and look at more of the trial and stuff, he was in court just going off on Kevin, and well deserved. Desiree, I feel bad for her. But hopefully Kevin Davis rots in jail just like Edmund Kemper is. Well, this was the first episode of The Cult of Horror. I am your host, Devrel Davis. Please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, let this be known, get it out there. Next show will be about Big Lurch, the rapper who supposedly killed a woman in California. His friend's girlfriend supposedly ate her and all this other stuff and was high on PCP. But I use the word supposedly and allegedly because there are some indications that this might not be true. So just stay tuned and listen out for the next episode. There'll be a lot more from me. I got a lot of things going on TikTok now. All the information will be down in the bottom in the description. Also still look at my Morning Beer podcast. As far as sports are concerned, New York Mets and everything. Let's go Mets. You see the Mets tattoo. Let's go Mets in the playoffs. We made the playoffs this year, so let's go ahead and just stay out there. So stay looking at my stuff. I got a lot of reviews coming up on opening of unboxing of products. Excuse me. That's my dogs right there. I'm your host, Devrel Davis. Talk to you later. Peace.